how would you assess your team's performance?
Played hard. They did a good job getting sticks in the lanes. We missed 3 open nets in the first period, and that's kind of, and an egregious non-call that leads to a goal on them because they don't want to make an impact on the game. And the officials make an impact on the game by not calling a blatant trip where we have the edge on a guy to go to the net on an odd man rush, and then because there's a non-call, they go down and score and make it 1-0. It's game 7. Every play matters, and Jeff Carter's penalty in overtime last night was less egregious than that, and to end the series for the Rangers. And again, by not making a call, you're having just as big of an impact on the game as making a call. And when your 2 teams are as close as we are, it's really a 1-goal game. And the team who scores first has won every game in this series. I don't know what to say. The guys battled hard. We kept battling back. Kind of a goofy one. Puck's bouncing on Nags for the second goal. We don't get it 5 feet where we're supposed to get it out to dump it in, and they score off the faceoff. 2 self-inflicted wounds there that cost us the game. I shouldn't say that because Nag made a bunch of big saves tonight too. So it's that's not his fault. It's just the puck bounced. That was a funky bounce, and then we don't take care of business with the puck, and that's it. That's the ball game. That's the game winner. And like I said, the first goal. I don't know what year we're in here, but that's a penalty any day, any league in hockey. So, and then that's the game, right? So, credit to them, they capitalized on their opportunities they had, and like I said, it's been a tight series. Every game's been tight, down to the wire. So, you should probably say this should have been the conference final, not the second round, but nonetheless, that's life, and we'll move forward.
Kirk, what did you think of both Garrett Cockrell and Patrick McNally stepping back in as both veteran defensemen in this game for you?
Yeah, they played really well under the circumstances. Basically demanded to let them play today. And they were really good. No issues with their games. They made plays. They defended well. Credit to them. They weren't hurt. They were injured, and they played. That shows how much they cared about the group, and big time effort from them. Patty walked into our office after pregame skate and said, "I'm playing." All right, you're in. I'm not going to stop you as long as the doctor says it's okay. It's a broken finger, and Coxie had an injury I don't know if we want to talk about, but trust me, it hurt, and he battled through today. So just speaks to the character of the group, great group of guys. So they battled. So.
And speaking of the group of guys, this team was such a good conjoined group all season. After a great season like this, but ending in a down way of this, what do you kind of say to a team to just highlight the positive?
There's 27 teams in the league, and only one of them gets to be happy in the last day of the year. So there's nothing to say. There's no positives today. It's a shit day. We lost. And if you're satisfied with that, then just quit. They're disappointed, and deservedly so. They worked really hard tonight. They competed, not for lack of effort. Like I said, pucks didn't bounce our way in certain situations. They defended really well. Credit to them. They got a ton of, we had a bunch of shot attempts where they got sticks on pucks. And like I said, we missed literally 3 open nets in the first period that changed the game, right? One of those goes in, maybe we're in here having a happy chat, but that's hockey, right? Pucks bounce your way sometimes, and sometimes they don't. And today they didn't. That's life. Just got to get up tomorrow and start worrying about next year.
Do you feel like after Morrison's goal there at the end of the second period, your team had the momentum going into the third?
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought we did, and Mo too. Big game player, 2 games in a row and clutch situations. He steps up and doesn't score. Those are high level goals, and it's credit to Mo. He struggled a little bit earlier in the playoffs, and again, we just couldn't generate anything in the third both nights. They did a good job defending. I think sometimes we tried to do a little bit too much with regards to making plays where finally we got a scoring chance where we just kept it really simple, where Con's got that one net front where it was just we played behind the net, we cut back, and we get to the blue paint. I think we tried too hard, if that makes any sense. The guys were working their tail off, but it was it's almost like you're working so hard that you're accomplishing nothing, where sometimes you just got to let the game happen, and it happens, like I said, I can't fault anybody's effort. They worked their bag off. It just just, wasn't our night. And, the first goal and these Game 7s are so crucial, and we didn't get it.
And while I'm sure there'll be more time for reflection in the coming weeks and months, what will you remember about this year's team?
Yeah, just how hard they worked. Like, we were we got the last 9-1 on Thanksgiving weekend in Quebec. Thought the world was going to end. Then we're down 2-0 the next night. We battled back to get a point. Go up to Newfoundland. We're really bad the first game and kind of had a bit of a come to Jesus meeting as a group, and won the next 2. And from then on, we kind of rolled for the rest of the year, where wasn't many hiccups along the way. And it's a credit to the guys. They battled adversity. Like, I think to be a good team in this league, you got to go through some shit times during the regular season, and we certainly did. We had a tough go. COVID shut us down, and playing 7-9, 8-10, nobody complained. They just showed up and worked, and it's just credit to them. Like, a really, really great group of guys. The older guys, leadership group, awesome guys. And you're more disappointed for them because that group of guys is never. It's the life of minor league sports or pro sports in general. Like, that group's never going to play together again. Those 23 guys will never play hockey together again. That's life. Like, that's how this shit works. So that's what you're most disappointed in because of how hard they played and battled through a lot of friggin' bus breaks down before Game 6. The travel up to Newfoundland for both teams was awful. Travel back was awful. Nobody said a word. We just showed up and worked. And it's a credit to everybody. Credit to their team too. But a lot of shit happened this year where they could have folded the tent, and they never did. Never even complained once. They just showed up and did their job. And it's a really, it was a memorable year for sure. Obviously, it didn't end the way you wanted, but there's a lot of good things that happened that you look back on.
And Kirk, for a lot of things you just said, one of the adjectives that I always thought of with the team was perseverance throughout the season. You talked about coming back from bad games. Would that be something you took away from this group, that for the guys you do keep, that's going to be something that carries forward into next season as well?
Yeah, I'd imagine. I don't know how many guys will be back with regard. We have a lot of older guys. Some guys will be moving on with their lives. Probably moving to jobs outside of hockey or, going to Europe. So probably be a lot of turnover this year. But yeah, for the young guys, Cons, hopefully Kress and Kenny and those guys, Coop, come back. Will McKinnon, who's going to be on an American League deal with Lehigh next year. Those guys coming back, like, this was a great experience for them. Whether Will played one game, still get to see it and be a part of it, right? So, great group, and a lot to learn. Every day you're at the rink, hopefully you're learning something, or you're not doing something right.
Thanks for the time.
All right, fellas.
Patrick, can you just talk me through your goal and talk me through the play?
Yeah, obviously, throughout the game, we wanted to get pucks and bodies to the net. We were able to get, like I said, pucks and bodies to the net at that point. I was lucky enough to find that puck and be able to put it in. Obviously, they're a great team. He's a great goalie, so obviously we emphasized that in the third period. I think, or even through the whole game, I think we just needed to put a little more focal on that.
And Pat, Coach talked about you guys gave a great effort, but might have played a little bit too perfect to try to find a perfect shot and kind of shoot it into the blocking and passing lanes of the Growlers. What was your assessment of that?
Yeah, it's hard. Everyone wants to do their best. Everyone wants to go out there and make a difference. So, you know what? At the end of the day, we got guys doing that. It says a lot about our team, and cards just didn't fall right.
I know there'll be more time for reflection and things like that in the coming weeks and months, but what will you remember about being a part of this year's team?
It was a great year. That whole team, from the coaching staff to the trainers to the players, I can't say enough about them. Welcoming me in here for my first year, being so far away, they're like family. You spend X amount of months with them, and you just become one. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I can't thank everyone enough. And the fans as well, obviously, can't say enough about them. They came out and supported every night, and it's something I'll remember for a while.
And Pat, you seem to grow as not just elite offensive player, but well-rounded player, body checking defense as the season went on. Can you talk about how the poise of this
think our leadership, our group, I should say, I think there's a reason we don't have a captain. We have so many guys that can lead the way. So obviously they're a great voice, and when it gets down to the wire, even if it's the end of the regular season or here in the playoffs, it takes a lot. So I think everyone did a good job of buying into the physical play and knowing what it takes.
And then the last one for me, that would be your fellow Pat Nagel was very good this season for you. Could end up being, he's not getting any younger, his final year in the league. What did you think of how good he was able to step up for you guys and what could be his final hurrah here?
Yeah, he's our guy. We got him back. We couldn't be more excited about it. So I wish him the best. Obviously, selfishly sitting here, I hope he plays forever. I mean, that's going to be something he'll have to go forward and assess himself, family, body. He's had a hell of a career. Can't say enough about that guy as well.
Brad, can you talk me through your goal and just talk me through the play?
Not sure exactly what happened. Actually, it was kind of crazy. I think I missed a few shifts in a row. It was like 7 or 8 minutes or something, and then Kirk called me, and it was my shift, and I was like, okay, let's go. Jumped out onto the ice, and Pritch had the puck at the blue line, and I just kind of, right when I jumped out onto the ice, I went towards the net, and I noticed that I had a clear-cut breakaway. I think Pritch made a great play. Pretty sure I heard in the dressing room there, Nagel sent the puck up to him first, right? So yeah, it's good to have our goalie on his toes, and Pritch made a nice saucer pass into an area for me, and I just kind of took the puck and used some confidence there, made a move. Sometimes I like to just shoot, but I think I don't know if the goalie expected me to make a move like that. Usually it's probably just a play in that situation to go low blocker or 5-hole or something, just take a shot. But I made the move, and thankfully he bid on it, and I had the open net to put it in.
Brad, I asked this to Pat Bajkov as well, but from the great leadership group of this team, it seemed like you and he have developed your well-rounded game more and into leaders yourself from learning from example from them. Can you speak to that and how they've really helped your guys develop your game and your locker room?
Who are you speaking of?
The leaders of the team, like Dechara, Ebbing, Patrick McNally, how they've helped you as a younger group, Pat Bajkov, yourself, and others to be able to really develop into the players and also locker room people you are today.
Yeah, no, those are all really good guys that you just listed. We had a great leadership group. I sometimes needed them to pick me up a little bit if I'm having a tough time out there, or if I'm in a slump. Had a big slump at the beginning of the year, and then obviously battling with the injury and stuff, coming out of playoffs and going into playoffs was tough, but they kept me up, and they were really positive with me through the whole thing, and there's a lot of things that you learn from paying attention to those guys, the stuff that they do on and off the ice. So it's pretty special to see, and I think it's actually just really sad that the season's over, and we're not going to all get to play with each other again like this ever again. So yeah, it's actually pretty sad.
Do you feel like your team had the momentum after your goal there late in the second period, after the second intermission heading into the third?
Yeah, I think, it was
3-2
yeah,
at that point.
it was 3-2, and sorry, I was just thinking about how it was the same in game 6 too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 3-2.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I scored 2.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's crazy, but yeah, no, kind of the same thing. We sticked with it. We kind of, like, I thought we worked pretty hard tonight. Same with last game too, but we just kind of stuck with it, and then I think we just kind of got lucky. Plays opened up towards the end, and it's always good to obviously score the goal going into the period like that. I think there was less than a minute left on both of them, so yeah, we were pretty juiced going into the third period. Like, we were pretty pumped after the second, but they got a good group over there too. They can make plays, and just a few times I think that we just got beat, and like we would beat them too, because we're a good team, and it's just the way that the dice dropped, I guess. Didn't drop in our favor.
And then, Brad, something I talked to with Pat and Kirk was perseverance of this team all season from bad games, having a bounce back game, you guys battled back, unfortunately weren't able to get it completely back these last two. But for the guys that do come back next year, isn't that something you can carry for we have unfinished business, this is a persevering team, carry that into the next season as well?
Oh yeah, Kirk's been very positive with us, even after the loss. I think he handled it pretty well, pretty professionally. The way that he addressed us in the room after, you can tell he really cares about the group, and he definitely thought that we could go all the way, along with everyone else in the room. We had a special group, and I think every other guy in that room would probably agree with me. Yeah, he's been awesome for us, and Kirk's a great leader for our team, and next year, hopefully just whoever comes back, like your question you said, just bringing it into next year, next season, finishing at the top of our division, and I think, what was it, Toledo a little bit ahead of us, like 1 or 2 points. It's pretty good company there, and we swept them when we went there back to back, which is pretty tough to do. They're a top team in the league, so we did have the group, and yeah, just to add on to your question, I think that Kirk's the great guy to lead the guys going into next year, and kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think of the word, but progress or into next year, use the pace from this season, because I think that we were moving the puck very well towards the end of the year and then going into playoffs. So I think Kirk's going to handle it just fine.
Now, what will you remember about this year's team?
A lot of really good guys. I think every year, like guys in hockey, you always got a lot of fun guys in your team, and everyone gets along pretty well. But this was a pretty special group. Everyone is really close. It's just so sad that it's over, and I almost feel like crying. It's just so like it's done. Like we're not gonna see each other again. Maybe some of us, some of these guys, like who knows if McNally's even gonna play hockey next year? And like he's one of my good buddies here, and might never see him again. So just gonna enjoy this last week, I guess, that we're all here, and kind of bond together for one last time, and then wish each other all good luck.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks
No
so much,
problem.
Brad.